So, first question is going to go to Marin Lowen, who is in Ward 7. My question to Marin is, Saskatoon has many strategic and geographical advantages as a city to live in and invest in. During these challenging economical times that we're going through, how do you think our city needs to further boost and leverage its amenities and features?
Well, thank you very much for the question, and thank you for having us. This is just such a lovely event and venue, and of course, it's really nice to be here with my colleagues as well. I have to leave a little early this evening, so you won't have a chance to grill me after the formal questioning, but I'm confident the rest of them will handle all your hard questions on my behalf. I think it's important to acknowledge that even though we are enduring some more difficult economic times than we have had in the recent years, we do have a lot of advantages in Saskatoon, and one of those is a relatively diverse economy, and we have benefited from a number of significant investments and partnerships in the city in the last number of years. You know, having the university and all of the spin-offs from that helps us when the resource sector is not as strong as it has recently been. So I think for a city government, the biggest challenge in a time of economic difficulty is that we want to maintain affordability for residents, and particularly those who are having uncertainty about their jobs or their housing. But it's also equally important from my perspective to not take our foot off the gas in terms of making investments in the community. So balancing affordability and trying to keep tax increases as low as possible, but also not totally restricting our investment in public services, in infrastructure. We've made a lot of progress on that front in the last little while. And, you know, I think when people are considering moving to Saskatoon, whether or not they're going to stay in Saskatoon, whether or not they want to invest, there are lots of things that are taken into account. And one of the things that's taken into account is how well does the city function. So I think it's important that cities resist the urge or the inclination to pull back investments in the public services that we rely on at these times, because functional transportation system and good infrastructure and solid social supports, those are all really important, even in a time when we feel like it's the most important thing is to keep things affordable. So I think we've got lots of advantages. I think we can continue to make this an attractive community by focusing on improving quality of life, and that means amenities, and it also means ensuring we continue to invest in housing, and it means things like the Meewasin Valley Authority and making sure that those things we enjoy about the city remain vibrant in tough times. And it also means making sure our basics are well taken care of. You know, employers want to make sure that roads are going to work well and that their employees can get to work easily. And so those are the kinds of things we need to focus on. And of course, maintaining affordability is very important, but we need to continue our investments so that we can be resilient in these times of change. So that's all I've got for now. Thanks again for having me, and looking forward to the rest of the discussion.
Yeah. You mentioned something about basics. So I'm going to get you to hand over the microphone to Cynthia. Me and Cynthia go way back. We went to school together.
Yes, we did.
Cynthia is a solid lady. So with that being said, back to basics. This is something that you've talked about, that we got to get back to basics. So what do you mean by that? And what do you think that means in regards to what's the most important thing that you think our city's facing, and the whole definition behind getting back to basics?
Well, first of all, I think that people who serve others in elected positions need to reflect the wishes of those people. And Ward 6 residents have been very vocal.
Who's Ward 6? Are you vocal tonight? Where are you? Okay, we got a few.
Hello, Ward 6.
All right. Hello.
There's all one of you.
Yeah.
Great to have. Oh, there's a few. Okay, that's great. You know what? I just think that we have come through a time of exponential growth, and I think we're all very proud of many of the things that have happened, particularly what's going on in River Landing. I think that that's going to become a real jewel that generations to come are going to enjoy. But I think now, based on the economic times that we face, it's time to make sure that we're looking after what we've already got. And that really comes back to some of the mundane things like potholes and streets and lanes and street flooding. And I think the overwhelming response in Ward 6 has been we've been a bit neglected. That's the general feeling, that Ward 6, those are the core neighborhoods. That's Nutana and Buena Vista and Holliston and Haltane, the downtown core, and Grosvenor Park. And some of the more the thoroughfares, I think, have been addressed, and I have had an opportunity to see the overall plan for 2017 and 2018, and I think that the neighborhoods will feel that they are being tended to a lot more than they have in the past, based on the projections that I see. So in many respects, that will happen. And back to basics, I think, means making sure we're looking after Meewasin for sure. I think it's our finest feature. I think we have to make sure we're looking after that. And that doesn't change the fact that we also need to have a wide-angle lens for the future. And so how do we go about doing that? And one of the things that I feel pretty strongly about is that I think sometimes we break down in communication in terms of what residents want and what business wants. And I think we really are rowing in the same direction or want the same goals, and we don't do a very good job of talking to one another. So I'm hoping that that's one of the things that we can change going forward. We all understand that if we don't have a thriving business community, we're not going to have much of anything. The tax rate, the way it's set up right now, it looks like we're in for just under 4%. There's a bit of risk on that side in terms of a police budget, I understand, but a lot of those negotiations and budget planning is going to be more detailed in the weeks ahead. But I can say that, just understanding that so much of what's involved in that mill rate this year is about the decisions that taxpayers have made about wanting their roads fixed. So, I don't know, is it just under 3%, Maren? It's directly for the levies, for the levies for roads and for snow. So I'm finding that balance between making sure that we are providing good service and trying to keep a hold on the tax rate is obviously a balancing act. But overall, I think those numbers are actually pretty good. I think the trick will be to make sure that it doesn't go beyond that, and we're going to have some work to do to make sure that doesn't happen. Just a little bit further with regards to how we go forward with business, or in terms of what I think is one of the most important things that we do. We need to find a way to become a more sustainable city. Why? Because it is more economic. The most progressive, the most prosperous, the most healthy communities on earth grow upward and inward and not as much outward. Because for every meter of pavement and sidewalk and pipe underneath, that costs money from taxpayers to be able to service that over the long run. So it's important that we really get serious about maximizing our current infrastructure and building up. I would personally love to see a grand idea for the downtown. I think there's ways for us to move forward that we can be the smartest, most progressive city on the prairies.
Does it include a dome?
Who mentioned that?
That's the first thing I thought. I don't know where that came from.
Well, I think what I see is just we have all these wonderful spaces still in the downtown that aren't filled.
Yeah.
And we do have an issue with trying to make sure that we have more investment into our downtown. And I've heard for years that we're trying to grow the residential opportunities, but I don't see the result. And the little bit that I've been able to find out from the city administration since I've become a city councillor is that we do have more options. There's more tools in the toolkit to encourage that type of investment. And I really am looking forward to working with the business community to try to figure out a strategy on that going forward.
Sounds like it's very basic, but it sounds very strategic at the same time. Thank you, Cynthia. With that being said, I'm going to go to Councillor Dubois. Welcome back. How does that feel? Feels
good. Feels really good.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yep.
Awesome. And you are in Ward 9. So who's in Ward 9? All right, we got some Ward 9. So what's Ward 9?
Okay, well, Ward 9 is Lakeview, Lakeridge, Lakewood, Wildwood, Rosewood, and the Nutana Suburban Center.
Okay. I feel that you might have some unfinished business here. So what are some of the issues or ideas that you're looking forward to getting back into again and I guess addressing?
Well, thank you, Shawna, and thank you to the Chamber of Commerce and to the women entrepreneurs for putting this on, and thank you to Stephanie for hosting as well. She always does such a great job here, and I love coming here. And I have been here, actually my daughter's here, and my daughter's performed on this stage, so I've been here to support her and to be at other events as well. So yes, it is wonderful to be back serving the residents of Saskatoon. And in addition to what my colleagues have said, because really everything dovetails together, when I was campaigning, I was talking a lot about basics as well. So my ward has got new neighborhoods, Rosewood. It's got older neighborhoods, the Lakeviews and the Wildwoods, and then it's got the Nutana Suburban Center, which is right beside, which is Market Mall, so Louise, Preston, and Taylor by Walter Murray, and it's all seniors there. Way more than I realized. I knew there was lots.
You just have to go to Market
is
Mall.
that concentrated?
I'm serious. Go to Market Mall.
Yeah, I know.
I'm meaning that in a bad way
No,
because
no.
when I was going to university and I needed to get out of the house and stop studying at the house, and I lived in university, I would go to Market Mall and grab a coffee, and then there was the senior citizen group of people, and they'd come over to me and like, what are you doing? So that's what you need to do. That's where you can get your insight.
Oh, I've done that.
Okay, good. Okay. Oh, okay.
Well, and I grew up. I grew up and grew up in the area. Went to Walter Murray, so
Okay.
Market Mall is kind of my old stomping grounds.
Yeah.
So yeah. So certainly for my ward as well as the city, it is a lot getting back to the basics. I want to see sidewalks and roads maintained. They've been maintained somewhat, but not as much as they should have. And snow removal as well. We didn't have much snow last winter, but they're saying we're going to have a lot this year. So I want to have the money in the reserve to be able to, and I'm sure Councillor Iwanchuk will talk more about snow removal, but because she's the
Did you see outside right now?
she is
we
the
should
queen.
have lots of snow right now. When is the snow
I
coming,
know.
Bev?
I shouldn't say the S word. I'm sorry. I gotta leave. Well, she's the queen of snow.
Okay.
Anyways, and getting back to the basics and being able to provide those for our citizens. In Ward 9, and certainly in the entire city, our population is aging. And what I really found out from my past time on council and now is that we do have to look after the seniors. And they're the ones that, made our city, made our province, made our country. And we need to look after them. And when I see how they can't get around, how they aren't able to catch a bus easily enough, they've got to go down to the corner, cross, and come around. And so I see that as something that we really have to work on moving forward for the city of Saskatoon, is to look after our seniors more. And so that again, dovetails on to transit, and that's another area, sort of, I guess, maybe unfinished business, if you will. We need to, we'll certainly get the contract signed. That's a big thing. But, to make sure that our transit is user-friendly and that it can get people from A to B in a decent amount of time. There's a lot of people that I know, business people, that, they want to take the bus to work. They don't need to use their car during the day, but it'll take them an hour and a half to get to work and an hour and a half to get home. So they're saying, well, I don't have that much time. I mean, that takes away from my family and whatnot. So we need to continue to work on transit to make it the best it can be. And also, we want to increase the ridership. So it all goes hand in hand. If we have a good product, there should be more ridership. And we do need to continue to be a business-friendly city as well. And with the economy as it is, and I won't repeat some of the things that has already been said, but we need to keep working with the chamber, working with the business community to ensure that we are doing the right thing to our ability that helps businesses prosper and grow in our city. So that certainly is something that was on my list then and is still on my list. And we need to just be thankful that we live in a really good city, not complain so much, but work hard to make it even better. And so to me, it really is a lot of the basics that I want to work on. I think we need to rein in the growth in the outlying areas of the city. We need to finish the construction and people buying those houses and lots, and maybe stay for a while on that, and then we need to grow the downtown. I mean, there's a lot of vacancies downtown, and we need to ensure that we have a vibrant downtown. It comes and goes, you know. Some years it is very vibrant, then some years there's a lot of vacancies. We're there now, and we need to really work on that. So I could go on, but I think I'll leave it at that for now and talk more later.
All right. You know what? Talking about downtown, I mean, I do travel a lot for what I do, and I go to other cities, and I am always an advocate. And they always say, "Are you the mayor of Saskatoon?" Because I talk about our downtown. It is gorgeous. It is beautiful. We have head offices, and you can walk a couple of blocks, and you're on a river, and you can go into a gallery. You can go into a beautiful dining establishment. We got it going on downtown. We are this hidden gem, and we just need to like brag about it. And that's the thing that we don't do well, is brag about ourselves. So yeah, we just need to take care of the businesses that are already here and encourage more to be downtown. We have a safe downtown. I've been in some cities that are downtown and you do not want to walk out your front door. We have a phenomenal downtown. We do have some of our issues, but they're really kind of not that scary, I would say. Yeah. All right, that's my 2 cents. I'm not here to talk about me. We're talking about Anne Iwanchuk. Now, this is the thing. My daughter, who's 13, and all this election stuff that's been going on. I've been up since 3 o'clock on, I've been on a roll now. My girls know that. I got my sales manager over there and my other sales manager over there that used to be with me, and they know they go, "Why is she giving us an email at 3 o'clock in the night?" Because that's how I work. So yes, I've been watching the election, but I'm not going to give you an election question. But my daughter said to me, who is 13, is like, what do these people do that are in government and they're elected, and you know, these counselors? Because I was bragging about the fact that I got the dream team on stage, and I'm like, I was telling everybody today, and they're like, "Whoa, good for you." What is your job description? Like, what is it that you do? What's the day in the life of a counselor? I think that's a fair question to ask.
Well, thank you, and I think that's a great question. Before I answer, I have to say this is my first time in this venue. It's awesome.
I know.
I want to have a party here.
Ward 3.
Great.
Yeah, it's a good partying venue. Yeah. You can take a guitar off the wall, right, and just go for it. No, they're locked in. You pay it. They're like a couple $1,000s. You take it down. It's sort of like you touch it, you own it. Ward 3, which is, I know, over by the Shaw Center, right? Because that's where I take my daughter swimming.
Yeah.
Fairhaven?
Fairhaven, Park Ridge, Blairmore, Confederation, Pacific Heights, and the New Kensington.
All right. Is anybody here? Oh, right.
Awesome.
We got it. Woohoo. All right, good. So tell us the day in the life of a counselor.
So that's a question I get a lot. I spend some time in classrooms where I get asked great questions by kids, and I love their interest in politics. My most favorite question ever was, "Do you have a bodyguard?" And I thought, I don't know if the mill rate would really support that or that we need it, but I think that'd be really cool.
Maybe someone who would like tell us where we need to go at what time, and lay out our clothes the next day.
An assistant would be awesome. So it's very glamorous to be a city councillor. You spend a lot of time reading and highlighting reports and what you want to talk about in a report. Sometimes you get about 1,200 pages that you read for a week. So we have meetings, our standing policy committee meetings, and our governance and priorities and council meetings are all on Mondays. So you do a lot of reading, a lot of
every
prep
Monday.
Work. Every Monday we have a meeting. You know, pretty much, aside from a holiday week or something. But so we have lots of meetings.
Cynthia's like, what? No.
Yeah. I think I don't even think I understood that very well until I started. And I think it might be interesting for people to understand, because it was in this past term that you guys changed the regular Monday
I'll talk
council
about that
meetings changed so that more would get done in committee instead of at the committee as a whole.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so we have standing policy committees. We have 4 of them. So 2 meet on the first Monday of the month, and the other 2 meet on the second Monday of the month. And that's really the place where we have a lot of debate about items that are coming up. We might have speakers to the to the issues. It's more of the nuts and bolts work that you do, and then by the time it comes to council, we've worked through a lot of those issues. So we have those, and we have governance and priorities committee, which used to be called the executive committee, if you've heard about that. So that's the third Monday of the month. It goes from 1 till up to 11 p.m. So it can be a long night.
Do they bring in like pizza or at least or something?
We might get the occasional pizza.
All right.
Councillor Lawson, former Councillor Lawson, used to request Kentucky Fried Chicken. it's there's no steak and lobster. It's usually sandwiches. So we have those meetings, and then our final Monday of the month is our council meeting. So we actually hold 2 council meetings. We have our hearings are in the evening. They start at 6 o'clock, so any zoning issues or those kinds of things are dealt with there. And then our regular business, thank you, regular business is from 1 till 5. And so it can be a long day, but I think the structure is it's really nice to have that structure where it's easy to follow, everybody knows when they need to come, what portion they need to be there for. So that's a big part of it is
block
meetings.
off Mondays.
Exactly. Mondays,
I hate Mondays.
And block
Right.
off
block-
Sunday because
yeah.
you're going to be prepping
Reading,
for Monday.
1,200
You're gonna be
pages.
reading a lot.
I'll get to
and
it.
getting
I'll
ready
get
for
to it.
that.
Oh my God, it's tomorrow.
So that's a big part of it. And in addition to that, we sit on other boards and commissions and committees. So a lot of meetings that we do. But there's other things too. Lots of constituency work. So we get phone calls and emails from residents of our ward or even throughout the city who want to meet with us or have issues that need to be addressed. Sometimes it's as simple as forwarding a concern on to the appropriate department. Other times it might involve needing a policy change. So for instance, I'm dealing with an issue, can I get into it real quick? An issue where somebody was skinning, sorry to gross you out, but a carcass in their front yard. And
It's the hunting season right now.
and actually, there's no provision in our bylaw that prevents that. So, when you see really weird warning labels, sometimes it's because somebody did something that nobody contemplated would ever happen. And that's sort of the same thing here. So sometimes it requires more follow-up work and, things that you'll have to do. So that's a part of it. Lots of meetings with different organizations would certainly meet with, for example, Kent from the Chamber, the NSBA, Riversdale
Always
Bid,
give time
Downtown
for
Bid.
Kent.
Always. He always has good advice to give. And so, it's a lot of those kinds of things. I have another job as well, so I work in industrial relations.
Okay, so so not only are you a counselor, but you have a job?
Right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's managing those 2 jobs and making sure that there's adequate time to do both. Things like getting invited to the classrooms, like I mentioned at the beginning, talking about politics. Love talking to kids. I think that's one of my favorite parts of the job. And the committee work is always exciting too, and just being an ambassador to the city, but mostly it's reading, getting ready for meetings, it's presenting your ideas at the meetings and making sure that good decisions are being made, and dealing with your constituents. That's I would say the bulk of the work, and I'm looking around to see if everyone's concurring.
They don't know.
Great.
Some of them,
They're all shaking their heads saying she doesn't know what she's talking about. But it's it's a lot of fun. You get to meet so many great people. You get to come to wonderful events like this, and I couldn't ask for anything better to do. It's the level of politics that's most closely related to all of us, that impacts us directly every day. So being able to shape and mold those decisions is really an honor to be able to do that.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I'm going to hand it over to the young one here, right? Are you the youngest? Do you have a title that you not? Are you the youngest counselor so far?
I'm actually not.
You're not. Who's the youngest one?
I'm not the youngest sitting councillor, and I'm not the youngest person elected to city council in its history.
Okay, so here I am judging.
No, it's
but
okay.
I just assumed
I'm certainly young, but I'm not the youngest.
you might be the youngest on the stage.
Yes.
Okay.
I can confirm that.
I can't. I don't know yet. I'm not going to tell you about my age, but that's all right. What's my question to you? Tell me about yourself. I know some of these ladies, you're the new one. You're the one that's coming in. And so tell me about your background, your career aspirations, and what really made you just I need to run for being a city councillor. I want to know this.
I think it was a lapse in judgment. No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
Thanks for the question, Shawna.
You're welcome.
I'm Hillary. I know I'm a bit of an unknown quantity, and that really goes a little everywhere in my life. I have a twin sister, so regularly I just ran into somebody earlier today at this event who said, are you Hillary? You know, before they kind of, and I also have two other sisters who look a lot like me, so there's a lot of unknowns about
So
me.
if you want to miss a Monday, you just stick your sister in there
And they are
nod your
smart.
head.
It's great.
tell the other one to read the 12,000 pages, give you the Coles notes, and then send the other sister in. It's all good.
We did it all the time in school, so why not? I'm joking. We were total goody two-shoes in schools. We never switched places except once in grade 2. So I was born and raised in Saskatoon. I spent a couple of years in Winnipeg doing my master's. And my education background is actually in archaeology, of all things. So I have an undergrad degree from the University of Saskatchewan in archaeology. I have a master's degree from the University of Manitoba in physical anthropology. And so the route to city council is a little bit windy, but I love this city, and I've been involved in all sorts of things from forever. My mom worked in nonprofit, and so I was always involved in what she was up to at her job, helping out stuffing envelopes. I'm sure some of you have had the pleasure of doing that in various parts of your work. So really, what motivated me to run was just wanting to further my involvement in the city and wanting to, get a little closer to where the decisions were being made. And I think that a lot of people can kind of relate to that. And I really admire when people, are excited about something and get involved and learn as much as they can and move that involvement along. And so that's really what this is all about for me. In my work, we do policy and education around the social factors that determine health. I work for a nonprofit actually based here in Riversdale. And in that work, we talk a lot about, what makes healthy communities, what makes healthy people, what makes healthy families. And the decisions that we make collectively at all levels of government really impact how people are able to build a healthy life. And so, we've already talked about municipal government being the level closest to people's daily lives. And there's really important decisions being made in our city about, people's ability to be healthy, to be happy, and to be able to be really involved in their community. And I think that's really the thing I'm the most excited about is being part of really smart decisions for today and for the future of our city, and also being a part of making sure that our municipal government is accessible to people so that they can bring forward their concerns, but also be part of bringing forward solutions and that can be in so many things. And I think there was so much energy around this election. I've heard it from administration, I've heard it from returning councillors, new councillors, co-candidates, that there was a lot of excitement around the city in this election. And I really want to encourage everybody, and I've been doing that with all of the people that I encountered through my campaign and who I've been talking to since, to stay as involved as possible and to learn about the process that Anne was talking about which meetings you can come to. All of those meetings she talked about are open to the public. They're during the daytime, a lot of them, and that's why the public hearing meetings is held in the evening, so it's easier to access for people. But every one of those meetings is open to the public. The agendas go up the week prior. You can request to speak to them, and you can also just reach out to the people who are involved in those committees to, voice your concerns and all that sort of thing. So that's really a thing that I'm excited about in terms of municipal government, and is part of what motivated me to run, was to, get more involved myself, but then also, help to motivate others to get involved as well.
So where do you find this agenda? Is it
Yeah,
somewhere?
on the city's website.
It's on the city's website.
So the city's website, the best way to navigate it is just to use the search bar, which we don't use in any other websites. So it's a bit unusual, but it actually works. So do use it. And if you type in agendas or minutes or meetings, probably one of the first things that'll show up is all of the upcoming meetings, and they're organized by the different committees. And you can go in and check out the agendas, and all the associated files will be there. And they are all streamed by Shaw. So you can be at home.
Shaw.
Yeah. So you can be at home watching this, or at your office watching this, and after, the recordings are all online as well. And when you click to an agenda item in the online agenda after the meeting has been recorded, it will take you directly to that section of the recording as well. So if you just want to see what the discussion was around, a specific agenda item, it won't take you long to find it.
You know a lot for being brand new.
We have done a lot of learning.